Another hot topic, due I think primarily to the presidential election, is women's health. What are your thoughts on this issue? Are you in favor of the continuing of taking away money from things like Planned Parenthood, as like states such as Texas is doing currently? And what is your thoughts on the supply of contraception and services to low-income patients?
I support funding for Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood provides outstanding medical care for many women who wouldn't otherwise have access to it. I support contraception. I am pro-life, and contraception obviously is a way to prevent pregnancies. I'm similar to how Senator Casey believes on that subject. I oppose the Blunt Amendment, and I oppose any humiliating procedure such as what's been proposed in Harrisburg on women. But women's health and contraception should be fully funded throughout the country, and especially for poor women.
Jackson?
I am in favor of a woman's right to choose, and I believe that this assault on women's health, on women's access to contraception, is striking. This is something that we thought was settled a generation ago. You look at the problems that we're facing in this country. You look at the jobs crisis, you look at the debt crisis, all these other issues, education, immigration, energy, the environment. I cannot understand why the Republican Party is trying to revisit an issue that was settled 20 or more years ago. Women should have access to birth control. I support the president's accommodation with the Catholic affiliated hospitals and universities that would allow women to have access through their insurance companies. Unfortunately, our Congressman, Charlie Dent, has indicated a willingness to support John Boehner's attempt to repeal that accommodation. And I think he needs to be called on it. Charlie Dent has indicated a willingness to eliminate access to abortion services on national health exchanges. That's what happened when he voted for the Stupak Amendment. We need to call him on it. And we are not going to be able to call him on it unless we have a pro-choice candidate running in November.
Thank you. And I have a quick last question for you, and I just want a quick answer. It doesn't have to be very long, and then we're going to go in the closing statements because unfortunately our hour is closing to an end here. If you were elected congressman, I'm sure you have an issue that's near and dear to you. What would be your first piece of legislation? What is that issue that it'll be? Jackson?
I would introduce on day one legislation, a jobs bill that would invest $50 billion rebuilding our infrastructure here in the 15th district, rebuilding our roads, rebuilding our bridges, rebuilding our infrastructure, and putting Pennsylvanians back to work. Day one.
Brick?
My first priority would be to reform and strengthen Medicare, especially if the Affordable Health Care Act is found to be unconstitutional. It's a program that works well. It's a program that meets a critical need. I see it every day at the Senior Center, and it'll be my top priority the first day in Congress.
Thank you for your answers. And since Rick, you start off with the introductions, Jackson, you can start us off in the closing statement. 2 minutes, thanks.
Well, thank you again, and thank everyone again for your attention tonight. When I was in U.S. Army Ranger School at Fort Benning, Georgia, every day, every Ranger stood in formation together and recited together the Ranger Creed. 6 lines about what it meant to be a U.S. Army Ranger. And as one general said, the most famous line of that creed was, "Never shall I leave a fallen comrade." Every Ranger together saying that, "Never shall I leave a fallen comrade." And that wasn't a slogan, that wasn't a mindless mantra, that was a promise. That was a promise that every Ranger knew that his buddy would be there for him on the battlefield and that he would not be left behind. Can our Congress say the same thing? Our Congress has left too many people behind. Too many people looking for work. Too many people wondering if Social Security and Medicare will be there for them in their retirement. Too many women wondering if they will lose their right to choose. I am the only candidate who has a day one jobs bill to invest $50 billion in our infrastructure to put Pennsylvanians back to work, with a day one bill to ensure that Medicare and Social Security remain solvent, the Simpson-Bowles Commission reforms. And I am the only candidate who is 100% pro-choice. And because of that, I am the only candidate that can beat Congressman Dent this fall. Thank you all very much.
Rick?
And also, thank you to everybody who put this forum in place. It was excellent. I really appreciate being here. My background is in social work, and I've worked with children in foster care. I worked at the Shelter for Homeless Families, and now I work at the Lehigh County Senior Center. In my heart, and as a Democrat, my focus has always been looking to help those in need. I believe as a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, we particularly have to make sure that the most vulnerable in our society, the elderly, working families, have a fair chance and are cared for. And that will be my focus in Congress. I will look to serve the people. Thank you.
Just give a quick round of applause to Jackson and Rick for their answers tonight. And we're going to have a couple quick more announcements here from Cornell. And again, thank you everyone for attending this evening.